And did you see when Marca had that first page, Africa Power?
I saw that.
They had like Rudiger, Camavinga, Benzema, Chouameni, and Ferland.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what they were trying to do, but it's just really weird because none of them play for African countries.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I mean, I understand you're trying to point out that they're of African origin,
yeah.
but there's a way of doing this.
No. I mean, people hate French media. I hate it, but Spanish media is definitely the worst media out there. It
Because
it
they have a boss and we know who that boss is.
who Tebas.
No,
Pe-
please. It's
ha,
Perez.
no, half of it Perez is the boss, and half of it
Yeah.
Laporta is the boss. The
Yeah.
bias. Yeah, I
They
mean,
have you can tell that they're taking orders. Like that's why I don't consider it real. Oh my gosh, yeah. Do you remember Kamavinga's thing? Kamavinga's um presentation? Oh no, it was a press conference. That
what?
announcement lady, what she was saying is that like that Kamavinga was as dark as his suit or something like that. I'm like, how did you feel comfortable enough to even say that right now?
Yeah, racism in football, especially in Italy and England. I mean, for me, if there is racism from a club, you just ban all of their fans. Yes, it's yeah, it's sad for some of the fans that didn't say anything racist, but that just shows that you're serious. And then what happens is when one fan says something, the other fans get mad at him. Because what happens is if a Chelsea fan says something racist, Chelsea fans will defend him because they feel that their relationship to Chelsea fans is stronger than the relationship to humans. Like, how can you let someone say something about someone's race in a negative way and be okay with it
Well,
just because
especially
you
in
support the
Italy.
same club? Yeah, like
Italian clubs have that
Moiskin,
problem. Moise Kean,
Balotelli.
Mike Maignan, Zlatan even got. I think last season there was one instance where he was called
No.
a
Zlatan,
slur.
Zlatan. It was when they played Red Star Belgrade, and because Serbians they hate Bosnians and they hate Bosnians, so they
Hmm.
called him slurs and so on.
Yeah, they called him slurs like that. Yeah, like I mean,
It-
it's a problem.
yeah, and all of this with BLM, that's just disgusting. Like, what change did it make when players started kneeling and hashtags were everywhere? It changed literally nothing, nothing.
Well, that depends on perspective, right?
No, but
Some people feel like it's better to display, your beliefs like that, and then some people,
yeah,
including black
but
people, chose not to kneel.
yeah, because they know that this will make a change. I mean, I think that most people that were doing this BLM and were happy about it were like white players because they don't get the same racism.
I mean,
They were
it,
like,
it
"All right,
depends.
let's kneel. It's for a happy thing." But black players were like, "Yo, why should I kneel? Huh? This won't change or affect anything. Stop that nonsense." Like Zaha, for example, he knew that there's no point in kneeling in the beginning of matches.
But the thing is, it depends on what you're trying to achieve, right? Each player has their own reasons for kneeling and not kneeling. So if their thing is to spread awareness, then they'll kneel. If their thing is to, stand in solidarity with those who are trying to spread awareness, then they'll also kneel. For those who feel like, nah, I don't need to, I'd rather do work behind the scenes to do something about it, then they won't kneel. Like that, everyone should have their choice. I don't know why it evokes so much emotion in people if someone takes a knee.
No. For me, why I hate it, it's not because oh my god someone's taking it. Why I hate it, it's because it's like doing something fake.
It's
It's,
performative. It has a tendency to
yeah,
be performative.
yeah,
No, I
because
see what you're saying.
racist people are not going to stop being racist because some players kneel in the beginning of the game. People are going to stop being racist if you ban them, if you fine them, if you do this. Because then people will be like, all right, yo, he said some bad stuff and he got all of this. I should stop. That's how you stop. You, if yeah, the penalty has to be harsh for people to stop. But there's no penalty. There's no penalty.
So my issue is, see, because players, they have, weirdly enough, they are the targets of said racism, but they have little power in the
On
grand scheme
changing
of
it.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I can see why they're kneeling or not kneeling or whatever. Like, I can see why they
yeah,
are resorting to symbolism. My issue that really bothers me is when the Premier League specifically does the bare minimum. Like, they are literally, they did a social media boycott last season where they weren't, none of the players used social media for like a few days, to put an end to racism and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, someone is probably sending racist messages right now while they're not on social media. This did nothing. There was nothing that was done. Why is the league acting as if they have no real power in this entire thing? Why are they acting like players? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You could actually do something. You can revoke membership passes. You could ban people from stadiums. You can do something up top that actually lays down the rules. Like actual, like things. Like for an example, when that whole thing happened at PSG, the racism incident in Istanbul, like the players walked off. If they didn't do that, nothing would have happened. That why does something drastic have to happen for, like the people up top to actually take action and
Mm-mm.
really to note something? Like, do you know, like when both teams walked off, UEFA literally did not know what to do because it's never happened before and they had no real rules to cover that. If one team had walked off, it would be like, oh, if they don't walk on the pitch after a certain amount of minutes, the match would be forfeited. But they didn't have a rule when both teams walk up, especially due to racism.
Yeah,
So, like, they didn't think that far ahead. They don't plan on actually doing anything. Like, they can carry all the banners if they want. They can have a say no to racism on their kits. They could do online campaigns, but it's like you're not an average citizen.
yeah.
Like, you're
You
actual
you have all
billionaires.
the power. Yeah.
You are the people that they are protesting for, not the
Right,
racism,
but
not the
yeah,
racists. It's you.
that's the thing. They have no morals. They only care about money, and as long as money is running into their bank account, they don't mind changing anything. And that's why I want to bring up PSG Ultras when they got banned.
Yeah.
All of them got banned, even though it was like 0.5% of them who did shady stuff.
No,
But
because
everyone
people
got banned,
died.
and now everyone came back. I know, yeah, I know it's not. It's much more serious death than racism. I'm just saying, PSG, what they did there, they they had a harsh penalty for all PSG ultras, even though most of them weren't in this, but they still did it because now look at PSG ultras. We don't have problems anymore because it was a harsh penalty and people learned from it. But
Yeah, and it took like
yeah,
a
other
decade.
clubs, other leagues, yeah.
A decade and new ownership.
But that's the right step in the right direction. But others don't want to do that because they don't care. The French FA president literally dismissed the racism that Mbappe faced after the Euros.
And he almost retired.
Who, Mbappe?
Mbappe almost retired because he didn't have anyone defending him. Honestly, like the racism and the death threats that Mbappe faced after that is literally gone under the radar because I don't think people realized how much it really affected him and how much it was really out there. The ultras stood up for him and called it out. It was a lot of like, yeah, they could have done better,
Yeah.
honestly. Somebody has to call them out. And the thing is, like, with this conversation, usually I don't normally talk about politics or whatever, but it's so intertwined in football,
Mm,
like, especially in this particular case. There are moments where it's so intertwined that you really cannot separate them.
yeah.
Like, or even if the issue itself is not political, it becomes political after a certain point. Like, example is the Copa America, when the Brazilian players, staff, coach, all of them tried to, I wouldn't say boycott it, but they tried to essentially push against having it in Brazil. That entire situation turned political real quick, even when the intention was not so.
Yeah.
Because the people up top, and normally these federations, they hold some political power or political connections. So it's like, when conversations of don't mix politics with football or like
Yeah.
all that stuff happen, it's like it's not your choice. It's gonna happen.
Exactly. No, I think it would just get worse and worse because there's no one caring. There's no step in the right direction, and yeah, nobody really cares. Simple as that.